year, and after being given certificate from hospital, Ukrainian women can be with their children during 3 years and 6 years, in case if children need the medical support of their parents. So 3 months is 1 and 1 year, it is basic. We can only have maternity leave up to 3 years, and if there is some medical reasons, our women can stay with their children during 6 years. And some women use these opportunities and almost the whole life they are on their maternity leave, and from their maternity leave they go on pension.
And they are
also
paid.
have such
Yes.
humor situation.
And they are paid?
Yes, and they have minimum. They are paid with money until 3 years. They are paid with social funding, and if the person needs to be at home until the 6th age of the child, they don't have any money, but the woman can have 4 or 5 children and the whole life to spend the whole life at home, and after that have minimal standard pension. But again, another person was working during this period.
Yeah, here I will say that we are very similar to Ukraine again, with with reference to children's sentence.
Well,
no, we don't have such kind. We don't have such kind of things in Georgia.
Right.
Not every woman like this, use this opportunity. Usually, I must say, usually not every family. This opportunity is used by how to say it, is used by families with problems.
Okay. So here is another one question from Mr. Sharma from India. If you would like to ask a question, you raise your hands. Anyone who want to ask the question from the Ukraine perspective on workplace harassment? Okay, fine. So we move on. Very interesting perspective from Ukraine, very similar, very related to Pakistan as well, subcontinental as well. So now we have the perspective from Pakistan. Ms. Afaq, she is a corporate manager from Capital University of Technology, Islamabad, Pakistan, and she has also vast experience from the industry and academia as well. So we here are going to learn the Pakistani perspective regarding the workplace harassment, the female perspective, and the male issues regarding the workplace harassment. So please, Zara, you can start.
Great. Assalamu alaikum, Wasim Bari Saab. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. So, let I play
thank you. Dear audience, very Sir, I would want to talk instead of the playing of the video, because people cannot hear the video actually. So if you can allow me, I would be talking about whatever I said on the video. All right. Hello everyone from Pakistan, and I am Zara Afaq, and I have been working for the last 10 years in not only the corporate world, but also the development sector of Pakistan too. And let me assure you that Pakistan is in a very interestingly transition stage. Now, this transition has a lot to do with the increasing number of Pakistani females as compared to the Pakistani males. What I want to tell you is that the number of Pakistani women is increasing and the number of Pakistani men are decreasing. Now, for that matter, what we have seen is that the workforce number of women has increased very dramatically. It is not only consistent to the corporate world, but even if we see in the lower sects and in the lower social statuses, many women have come out of their houses to support their families because of the ever rising inflation and the job insecurity, and how to actually maintain their lifestyles. So a lot of women have been coming out of their homes to work. Now, where is the problem? The problem is that in our society, men are the sole bread earners. They have been given this responsibility by not only the prevalent religion, that is Islam, that they have to earn and bear the burden, financial burden of their families. So it has been inculcated in them, in the male mindset from their childhood, that they have to take care of their families. Now, when the ever increasing number of the Pakistani women have joined the workforce, men are finding it as a big threat. First. Second is that Pakistan, due to the globalization, is going through a massive change in terms of its economic system, right? So for that purpose, obviously we have been stereotyped. Pakistanis have been stereotyped as being terrorists, as being very much extremists and everything. So our job opportunities abroad have been turned down many times, or many people have been facing these issues that they have to come back. So there is a large number of population that remains unemployed, and they need to earn. But the problem is that with the increasing number of educated Pakistani females, the males are becoming very insecure about their jobs, and they use harassment as a tool to make the females of Pakistan who are working actually in organizations to feel less confident about their productivity, and actually drive them towards leaving their jobs so that they can secure their positions. So there are a lot of harassment types. For example, we can talk about personal harassment. Now, personal harassment is that if a person, irrespective of the gender, if he is a male or a female, if he is threatened by his peer or subordinate in any way possible, because he's insecure because of his job, he is insecure because of his job, he is going to harass that person who is making him insecure. All right. And he is going to use different tactics in order to break and shatter that confidence. And one of them is sexual harassment that usually women are actually facing in Pakistan. But let me tell you one very interesting thing, that even though there are no formal policies in many organizations in Pakistan, but a lot of organizations now are making it a part of their formal policies to ensure women harassment is not being done, and it is going to be penalized very severely. It has been started with big organizations like United Nations, like Save the Children, where I have worked myself, and then international companies like Unilever, Procter and Gamble. They ensure that the women that women are secure in every manner, and sexual harassment has to be reported, and if it is reported, it is pursued very, very aggressively. So in these kind of organizations, women particularly feel very, very protected and confident, and there is a lot of you can say inclination of women to join these kind of organizations. We've got a very, very robust telecom sector as well, where women want to join those companies, just because those companies have those policies that are in line with their career development and actually safeguards their protection, and not only them but their families too. So in Pakistan, where to the world Pakistan is being stereotyped as an extremist nation and a terrorist nation, let me assure you that there is a lot of increasing number that females are actually joining the workforce and earning pretty well. I'll tell you a very, very interesting example from the education sector. I'm not going to mention the name of the university, but people were harassing not only their students, but also the female workforce working in that university. And let me assure you that that harassment case was reported, and that person had to leave, who was actually harassing everybody and using his power to not only harass the person, to actually inculcate fear in her, and through her to the other females as well, to not actually take a step against him. But that, mashallah, the woman was very gutsy. She was very confident. She actually took a step, and the organization's disciplinary committee actually sided with her. Very neutrally, they decided against the harasser, and he had to leave his job. Now, this example comes from a third world country, so-called third world country, where we men and we women are considered as extremists. But let me tell you that Pakistan is emerging as a very, very enlightened country, and this is just the start. Big organizations are doing that already, and middle tier organizations have started working on making women friendly policies, so that they are not being harassed anymore and they are able to actually report it. Apart from that, I don't know much about the legislations and the judiciary, but let me assure you that a lot of women friendly acts have been passed in the near future that actually support women empowerment in Pakistan. So I think in the next 10 years, I can see that Pakistani this harassment culture, especially towards women of Pakistan, working women of Pakistan, is going to be not only highlighted, but actually become more controlled, because we can see that steps are being taken not only on the judiciary level, but on the organizational level as well. And instead of sharing the negatives, I have made it a point to share the positive aspect, that where people are being harassed, women are being harassed, but there are success stories as well. And it has been ensured that the harasser cannot get away with it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for such an interesting talk. She was talking about the Pakistani perspective, different experiences, the examples, and the positive cases regarding Pakistan, future of Pakistan regarding workplace harassment. Anyone have a question from Ms. Zara Afaq? Can ask the question. Atfa, are you there? Anyone?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Yes. What is the question?
Sir, actually, I am just saying that still there is a need of policies in organizations, but some organizations, like well-known organizations, have already policies, but there is no motivation. So I think that for the motivation for female and male both, there is some gap in organizations. But do you think that there is a gap because of what purpose?
The gap basically arises from the lack of awareness. All right. If you're not aware of your rights, okay, and the harasser is harassing you, you are not going to be confident enough to actually take an action against that. All right. So first you have to identify the problem. Where is the problem? How is it being addressed? All right. And you need to be aware of your rights. If I am not aware of my rights, in my organization, all right, and I'm working and I'm being harassed by somebody, okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to be very much demotivated. I'm going to be I am going to be less productive at my workplace. My job satisfaction is going to falter, and I'm going to think about leaving that place, all right. But if I'm aware of my rights, and if I know the policies of the organization, so instead of thinking about leaving that organization, I'm actually going to exercise those rights. All right. So the first and the foremost thing is awareness. The second thing is guts. We are living in 21st century. We are not in cave ages anymore. Even Pakistan is not in cave ages anymore. A lot of women are working. So we need to be gutsy. We need to be bold to speak out about our rights and stand up against. I think one of our panelists said that we have to come forward. We have to raise our voices that this is what is wrong happening to us. If not today, tomorrow our voices are going to be heard. All right. And just because of that voice, things are going to start going towards the right direction. And I think this is the main gap, that we have to be aware and have guts to actually stand for ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other question, please? From any participant, you want to ask the question regarding Pakistani perspective? Ms. Zara is here to answer. Anyone? Okay, fantastic. So I have a question for Ms. Zara Afaq. What do you think the external drivers mean laws, organizational policies, like that, can control the cases of workplace harassment, or some internal drivers like ethical trainings, religious awareness, social awareness, society practices are much important to avoid the workplace harassment or decrease the cases of workplace harassment? What should be more stronger to success and increase the organization performance?
Sir, an organizational culture has a lot to do with how a person can exercise his right to harass somebody else. Once your organizational culture inhibits that, okay, if a strong action has been taken against one harasser, the other one is going to be very, very careful and will think 100 times before harassing the other person by reflecting upon the situation of the first one. All right. So I think the organizational culture has a lot to do with these kind of practices that happen on a daily basis. First of all. Second of all, you have asked me if the internal forces or the external forces are more important. Sir, I would like to say that a clap is because both the hands are working together, right? You hear a clap because both the hands are working together. So internal and external forces have to work together in equilibrium so that the act of harassment can be stopped. From an organizational perspective, the organizational culture and policies, as well as the motivation to speak up and stand up, and from internally, such employees should be encouraged to talk about it, and encouragement should be given to them to actually stand up for themselves. And on the country level, on a state level, such legislations and such judicial acts should be made executionable, so that nobody is able to actually indulge in such an atrocious act.
Okay, thank you. Any other question from the audience, please? we have a last speaker on Ms. Zara Faq. If there is any question, you can ask. Otherwise, I am going to concluding the session. Anyone? Okay, fine, thank you. First of all, I am very, very thankful to the all speakers who joined us today and gave us a very, very constructive knowledge from different perspectives of the world, from the different nations, from the different states. And it will help us a lot to understand, at least to understand the perspective of different nations on workplace harassment. Second one, the minds are getting training how to get the learnings from the virtual medias. So this is another practice which we are doing for the society development, because due to post COVID-19, we need to learn the behaviors, that how to learn online, how to learn from the other cultures, from other societies, from the other people. So first of all, this thing, the platform International Knowledge Cafe, we designed just for the learning of the people from the different part of the world, from the different perspective and the different branches of the knowledge. We can share here, we can learn, we can teach, everything we can do. And this way we can groom ourselves, our personalities, and we can spread the peace all over the world. One thing. Second one, I am going to conclude the topic here, which I understand from all the participants, from the different people who are talking here, the participants who talked here, the messages like that. First of all, I experienced that almost all over the world, we need to provide the awareness about what is harassment actually. Different countries have the knowledge up to different extents, but in lump sum, we need to give the further awareness about the workplace harassment or the societal harassment like that. Second one, the policies of the organizations and laws of the states are very, very, very important for the control of the cases of the workplace harassment or the society harassment. If the laws are active, the judiciary providing the support on it, organizations are very strict on the policies of workplace harassment, definitely the cases of workplace harassment can be decreased. This is true. But my perspective is that when we strictly create the environment like that, one side the cases will be decreased definitely, but the culprits' motivation level to doing the job, perform the work, maybe will not the same. So similarly, we need to work on the internal drivers, internal ways to control the workplace harassment, which includes like we should arrange the regular trainings for the both genders at the workplace. What are the losses of workplace harassment on both sides, and it should be continuously. Second, we ethically realize to both genders that what is the issue with the workplace harassment, how people suffer and how the organizations suffer. And we should motivate them. We should invite the society to participate for such type of trainings from the different perspective of the speakers. We should invite in the organization to discuss the demerits of the workplace harassment. This way, the people internally will be motivated to avoid the workplace harassment. And this way, I think we will be at more better position to avoid the workplace harassment cases. And positively, we can do this. Otherwise, if we will apply the strict laws, sometimes I observed that and I saw the cases, the females do complain on the harassment. The male maybe leave the job, but he will destroy the life of that woman. can do different actions. He can destroy the life of that woman in that organization, even sometimes in his family. So the laws are very important in the society. The organization's policies are also very important in the society to create a pressure on the environment. But the same way, we are also need the trainings. We also need provide the protection genders, because if we realize them, we are providing the justice as an organization. I hope so the people will be more motivated to work in a more friendly environment. Second one, which I understand, that religion in the societies also a big force, also very big force to control the harassment. Almost all the regions of the world are engaged the workplace or the otherwise harassment, in any kind of harassment even. But I understand, or I believe that culture is more strict than religion. Culture is more stronger than religion. I mean the culture of the society. Sometimes we negate the culture of the society, but follow the culture of the organization. So in this scenario, the issues are increased. If the societal culture and organizational culture are matched, then the workplace harassment cases will be decreased, I think. Second, if the religion is there and the people are practicing the religion in true form, I also believe that the workplace harassment will be decreased in this way. Moreover, the last thing which I also learned from the two session is the society matters. Family structures matters. How family believe the members of the family to each other, it matters. If we have strong family structure, if we believe on each other, we can understand each other, then women, the men get the power to talk, get the power to speak against his violation or her violation, against the harassment. So we should also provide the confidence to the family members if they have experienced some illegal practices at the workplace, like the harassment or other ways. She or he will be very easy to talk with the family members, and family members should be positively supported, not to ask him or her to drop the job and come to back and stay at home. This is not the solution. We should provide the trust, and we should fight with the society, with the organizations, to protect the both genders from this sort of harassment. And this way, I think so, especially with the internal practices like the trainings, ethical discussion, religious references, we can overcome the workplace harassment cases. And definitely legal practices and law protections are much, much important as well. So this is my point of view. Anyone want to share something from the speakers or from the audience? Please welcome. Anyone from the participants? No one? So the last thing I want to share is the certificates of the participants. I hope so. Many people are here and excitedly waiting for the this announcement. I will share definitely with you guys certificates. Each of you are participants. I have take the record, all of you. Right now, I will give the message of the email in the chat. You can send your picture from the session you take from your screenshot to that email address, and in return you will get the certificate with your name. Understand?
But for those who didn't do any pictures, did you do them?
Of course, we will take the picture.
Sir, what did you say? Whether we have to send the screenshot in the provided mail with our mail IDs?
Yes, right now I shared the email address. You shared your screenshot on that email, and in return you will get the certificate. And please write your name very clearly.
Okay.
Okay, now I say thank you very much for your participation and sharing your very fruitful ideas and discussing the very different perspectives to help the students for the learning point of view. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you again. Soon we will be on the other topic or some other training. So you guys all are welcome. And soon we will going to start for the interviews from the experienced PhD doctors and the professors for the help of the students who are studying at the master level or PhD level for their research support. We are soon going to start the interviews from the professors. Their advices and their guidelines will help the PhD students and the master students to get the better position in research and completion of the degree as well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Wasim. Thank you so much. Take care.
Welcome. Thank you.
Colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.